All right, guys. So we're currently in the off season. We're just waiting on a couple of guys to finish up with their recruiting. I just figured I would go through and we'll make some comments. There's the last guy we're waiting on right there. And so we're just gonna kind of go ahead. We're gonna go through a little bit about what happened in this season. Just kind of do a little recap and then talk about what we got going on here in the next one. So we finished 11-3, number 16 in the polls. I'm going to start off by saying this with UConn. I figured 12-2 was a little more realistic. For me, I blew that first game. I had it in hand and I gave it away. That was on me, 100%. But we could be 12-2 easily right now. UConn has never ever had a team win 11 games in one season until this season right here. So we've accomplished something at UConn that has never been done before. We're setting new heights for the program, and on top of that, right now we are sitting at the number 6 class, rolling into signing day, and an ability to get into the top 5 recruiting class, and possibly what I think are realistic if we get the 3 main guys that we're going after here. If we get all 3 of those guys, no doubt in my mind we will finish at least number 3 in the final rankings when it's all said and done in recruiting, which is going to give us the highest recruiting class of any user team. Now, I will say this. Army is no longer a user team. Weens decided to go from Army and jump ship and go to Missouri, so he now has a number 19 class, which is still a pretty solid class. And apparently he's got quite a few gyms. Good for him. We have Fresno State, Camiar State at Fresno State. He has the number 16 class. And then we have, instead of Justin going to stay at Kentucky, which he won the national championship this year. As you see, he's 14-0, number 1 team in the country. He jumped ship to go to Auburn. So now he's going to be at Auburn. Auburn has the number 14 class in the country, and I'm sitting at number 6. So it would take a lot for these guys to be able to catch me. So I'm probably going to have the best recruiting class out of all the users this season. On top of that, we've got Wake Forest back here at number 26. That was Ken. He just logged in. He's doing his stuff. He lost in the national championship game to Justin. It was kind of a blowout, but Ken finally made the national championship. Snaps for Ken, everybody. Snaps for Ken. But that's huge in recruiting. People like to see that. Maryland, all right, Bitta finished number 2 in the country, 12-1. He won his bowl game against Washington State. He's got a fairly decent recruiting class. A lot of his first recruiting classes look like this. A couple 4 stars, a lot of 3 stars, and he gets his needs filled, which is a big deal to a lot of these guys that are in here. So, moving down, we're going to go down to, you see Kansas here. That was a user. He finished 12-2, but what he did was he jumped ship for South Carolina, which is number 60. The number 60 recruiting class. You see, he's got a 5-star on there and 2 4-stars and a couple 3-stars. He's only got 5 guys in his class. He's ranked number 60, so he could take a pretty big leap on signing day. But still, he's got a pretty solid group of guys right there. Going up, we got Will, who has the number 53 class right now. Not a whole lot of higher ranked recruits, but a pretty solid bunch. And then we have our buddy Nolan sitting here at the number 51 class. He actually showed me his board. He was brave enough to show me the board that he had. And there's some gems in this group right here. Let me go ahead and tell you, it's a pretty solid group. They're all at least 72 to 70 to 75, 79, something like that. Pretty good solid group that he has. So that's going to be a sneaky good recruiting class. Even though he's got 8, it's a pretty good group. So We're gonna keep on moving up here. No, we already got to that, so we got to go down some more. So we've got. Let's see here. Going down, going down, going down, going down. Arizona. This was the guy who was at Duke. That's gonna be Jed. And where's Duke's recruiting class? Duke, actually, I want to say they were up towards the top. He took a huge step back in his recruiting class ranking when he left Duke. He had a pretty solid season, too. They were number 33, and he finished number 15, 10-3 on the year, and no conference championship game for him. But now he's sitting back at number 81. And then there's Utah. So this is Reese. Reese definitely traded up in teams and in recruiting class, so that benefited him hugely because he was sitting here at Florida Atlantic. They finished 12-2, and he had a rough time recruiting. He joined week 3, so he was a little bit behind the 8 ball. He hadn't lost a game since he joined, so that's something to look out for. And then here's Grumpy, just back along the back. And let's see here. So we got Weens jerking himself off in the group chat because he's got a couple 5 stars. But Indiana, so that's going to be Grumpy, Derek, who he didn't get to play that much this year because he's going to be a daddy. So he had to, prioritize some things. But his guys aren't terribly bad. That recruiting class could probably be a little bit higher if we were going off of overall, but we're not. So he's got the 118th ranked class. So look at our pipeline, see what we got here. We've got Pennsylvania, Florida, Connecticut, and we're losing Florida, it looks like, and New York, and Georgia, and Massachusetts. So that's going to change because we're going to start unlocking pipelines, and that's going to bring. I mean, we'll have quite a few. We'll have quite a few pipelines, but we're going to be working on that in the next year. My goal is we're going to try to get these states added on here, and I just got to find them. We're going to go with California. We're going to get California. We're going to get a couple guys out of California. We're going to make obviously Florida, Louisiana, Georgia, all high priority places. Texas is going to be some place that we're going to try to recruit from. And then we're going to stay with Pennsylvania, and Ohio is going to be a big spot for us as well. So we've got the likes to make it happen. Now we just got to do it. So the thing is that we just got to get this number down so that we can keep our pipelines with these guys that basically we're just kind of getting a little bit fucked off of the fact that we've prioritized a couple things differently so that the how do I put it, so that the pipeline making pipelines hasn't really been a big key for us yet. But next year that's going to be what we knock out first with our coaching points. So we've got points elsewhere to help us still be good in recruiting, and then we're going to worry about building pipelines. So let's see here. Anyway, so the big thing that we're going to be looking for here is now we've got guys that are moving into Power 5 conference jobs. We had a couple coaching changes, like I mentioned before, which was a lot more than what I thought we were going to get, but we had quite a few guys jump ship immediately, actually. So I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to read it off here, and we'll see who all made their move. So we have Justin, who went from Kentucky to Auburn. We have Weens, who went from Army to Missouri. And that's a Big 12 Missouri now, so keep that in mind. We have a guy here. We have I'm trying to think of people's names while I'm going along here, but Dylan went from Kansas to South Carolina. We had Reese go from FAU to Utah, and we had Jed go from Duke to Arizona. So we're now going to have 2 guys in the SEC. We're going to have 2 guys in the Pac-12. 3 guys, excuse me, in the Pac-12. And we're going to have 2 guys still in the ACC. We're going to have 1 in the Big Ten. We've got another one in the MAC, and then there's the Mountain West Conference and American Conference representatives still kicking it here today in our respective schools that we did not ditch for. So everyone's in a Power 5 except for me, Nolan, and KBR. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out in recruiting. Obviously, those guys are going to have kind of the upper hand when it comes to like conference prestige and stuff like that, and going after higher quality targets. I'm using air quotes. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how that works out. We've got 2 or 3 guys in the ACC. We've got 2 there. Yeah, we've got 2 guys in the ACC. So anyhow, long story short is that basically our big thing here is we're kind of starting to migrate. And depending on how I recruit this year and how my recruiting goes this year, I may actually have to jump ship next off season, and we'll just cross that bridge when it happens. But the recruiting thing is huge in deciding if I need to leave or not. Now you're seeing we've got on the west side of the Mississippi, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on the west side of the Mississippi River. And in the northeast, you've got me, you've got Bidda, and that's basically it. And then you've got South Carolina, that's East Coast. We've got Auburn, that's going to be an East Coaster. And Wake Forest, which is going to be an East Coast team. So the competition is still there, but it's a little bit more fanned out. Everybody's kind of not incredibly too far away, but also far enough that it's going to make things really, really interesting come time to recruit. So we're going to signing day. We're going to see where everybody ended up. And it's going to be just really, really interesting to see how everybody spread their points out. I actually had 2 guys that I was technically in battles for with users. If I get both of those guys, though, I'm gonna have a number 3 class in the country easy. No concerns for me. So we'll see. We will see what is going to happen. I'm like holding my breath right now. I'm really nervous because this could really go good or it could really go bad. It's the most nerve-wracking part of the season because I hate off-season recruiting. It's literally the most difficult part of this whole entire game, especially when you're doing it against actual people and not online or offline against a computer. Because they could literally put their points however they want them. The computer's only going to put about 5,000 on them, but you just never know with users. Here we go. Here's a moment of truth. And Boom! All 3 of them. Hell yeah, brother. Okay, so that's good. That's good. That's good. That's really good. That's really, really, really good. Tell me I got a top 5 class. I got a top 10 class. What? Not a top 5 class? I'm a little shook right now because that should have been. I really should have gotten more. But I'm going to wait and see here. So on signing day, we got all 3 of the guys that I wanted, and we finished with the number 9 recruiting class. We went down 3 spots. I feel absolutely fucking shook right now. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. But still, big time, man. Big time recruiting class for us. 8 4-stars and 10 3-stars. That's solid. I'll take it. Here we go. So now I got to sort through all this stuff and let the guys know how they fared. Alright, Maryland, number 23, so that's going to be. Man, these guys just knocked it out of the park. I'm telling you what. We're going to have quite a few guys with top 50 recruiting classes. Good grief. Big jumps by a lot of these guys, too. Good grief. Oof. That's everyone. So, we are good. We are good. And I'm going to finally reveal my board and talk a little bit about what we have happening here. So, as you can see, we got all of our top targets. So, there's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 7 of our top 10. No, we got 9 of our top 10 recruits that we were going after. A pretty solid class. A lot of these guys are going to redshirt, so they're going to not be at the same overall as what they are right now, and that's the key thing, is that year where they're going to come in and they are going to be molded into a lot better players, and we're going to get these guys in and make some good things happen. So I'm pretty proud of my class. It was a pretty good, solid first one. Um, the big make or break, if I'm going to stay or not, is going to rely a lot on the next one. So we are going to advance to the position changes, and we're going to go from there. But I mean, just huge, huge recruiting class for us. Number 9 in the country, and I'm good. I'm good on it. I'm happy with it. I've always wanted to kind of do this little off-season thing with like on the channel, but it's just really really hard with how spread out and how crazy that everyone's schedule is. It's really hard to just sit down and get it all done all at once. Um, so it's difficult, but it's okay because we're gonna make it. Yep. Yeah. So all right. Boy, I am just stoked right here, man. I mean, just absolutely killer, killer. I mean, we got some coach points. We're about to, you know, get into the season again and be right back on it. I want to go there, but I'm just like I just know there's probably not going to be very many guys that I want to insta commit. So I'm letting it go basically, and I'm going to try to get the. We'll work on that later on, but I mean I'm going to make sure that I get my pipeline states. You know that's the most important thing for me right now. We're going to do position changes on my team. So here we go. As you can see already, you're seeing freshmen on the top of my team ratings. That's good. That's such a happy sight to see, man. I'm so happy. This guy, he could play wide receiver. He could play running back. But I know exactly what I want him to be. Big kahuna right here. Good grief. This guy, he could be anything. Oh my god. This is literally one of those situations where it's just like, what do I need more? Because I've got some guys on the offensive line here that aren't very bad and they're young ish. And I mean, defensive line, I just knocked it out of the park recruiting. So I'm like, I'm good there, you know? Oh, jeez. Defensive tackle is a need. Defensive tackle is a huge need. Guess what we're going with this guy? Guess what we are going to go with this honcho right here. Bam. Defensive tackle, baby. And then we've got this cat. How about you? Defensive back, I'll bet you anything, right? Cornerback, safety, or free safety. We'll try him out here and see what we got on free safety. Not a lot. thinking that's a for sure deal right there. I've got two. That's interesting. That is really, really interesting. He's kind of a lot better. And what am I finagling here right now? 66. What am I doing right now? Ooh, buddy. I think I found the match right there. I think I found it. Middle of the defense. Put a strong safety at middle linebacker. How about that one? Good grief. That is an absolutely sexy move right there. Already. I mean, dude, he could start tomorrow. Oh, Jesus. I love it. This class, like I said, it's a huge improvement already for me, and that's what I'm so happy about. It's not great, but man, it's good. It's good compared to what I had. So I can live with it, you know. Got some pretty solid wide receivers here. Yeah, oh god, this guy sucks. Got a running back that I'm pretty proud of. I can be happy with. Gosh, that guy was a stud this year. And then I've got my quarterback. So, you know, I mean, it's, like I said, it's not great, but it's good. I can live with it. I can be happy with it. So. Say what? I'm going to guess Austin. Why? Why would you have to go get him? Oh my god. That's frustrating. I mean, you got Austin, so just explain it. Okay. Yep. I mean, that's all you can do. I know. Well, don't worry about trash. We'll get it tomorrow night. So, you know. It's fine. We'll get it. That's okay. You'll be fine. You'll good. You good. You too. Bye. Ugh. Golly, fucking kids, man. So, looks like that we are about 15 minutes. "15 to 20 minutes away from advancing, and I'm feeling pretty good about this crop of guys that we got here. You see we got 2 corners right here, not very good. We've got 2 corners right there that are better than what we've got right now before we go to training. But I'm feeling really kind of cocky about this group right here, man. I mean, we've got some ballers. So we're gonna have probably about 4 guys that are over 90 overall, which we only had 1 last year, and that was my punter. As you can see, our punter is already right there, basically. Already. So that is clutch for us. We're getting way better across the board. It's just going to be needing to get that recruiting to be a constant thing, a constant good recruiting class after another, and then we'll be in a pretty solid position. And yeah, as you can see, we have a pretty easy contract. They expect my target wins per year to be at 7. We get 11. We play 3 user games. I'm going to get 9 at least. So, feel pretty good about it. Program tradition is trash, but we're going to pick that up. We're going to make it better. We are going to make it better. So, go over a couple things here. I'm not even trying to speculate on next year and coaching jobs because that's just stupid. We'll go to coach info. Users only. You can kind of see here. Basically, who's got the most coach points? Weens. Weens and Caviar and Dylan and Justin, for the most part, are the guys that have the most coaching points. And then there's me at 23, 22, 21, 11, and 23. So there it is, y'all. We are making our progress here. 11-3, 12-2, 14-0. Go see what the best win totals is, and you can see they're kind of trash, but we've got a lot of guys ahead of us that we're going to have to catch. So, longest win streak. Here's a good little stat to look at. Boom. So we're right in the middle of the pack on that one. But we have an ability to extend this streak further going into next year. And we're going to be able to end another one because we're playing against this cat week 1, or well, first game. So, it'll be a pretty good deal. Conference championships. Here's something that's good to look at. Guess what? We're right there tied at number 1 for the most conference championships. We've got 4 guys in Dynasty who've never won a conference championship. National championships. We're not in the right spot on that, but he is. Bowl wins. Boom. On the right side of that one. Not them. Or him. Top 25 wins. Oof. Record against rivals 1-0 for UConn. How about you? Average recruiting class rank, and here's the big one. This is where we're going to set ourselves apart. Is I average is twice as good as the guy behind me. So that's a big one. Top 25 recruiting classes. Here's another big one. That's going to help our championship contender rating. Guess what? Got it. Only 4 guys got top 25 classes, and we're one of them. I feel like that's wrong, but it's not, because it doesn't give you credit for people that you don't. For people who don't finish with their recruiting classes. So there you go. That's why that he's at 18 and not 19. So that actually probably helps him out a little bit. No Coach of the Year awards. For me, Nolan won it last year for going 13-1. Of course, Dylan won the Heisman. And everybody had All-Americans except for me and Indiana and Duke. Ouchie. But that gives you a pretty good idea about how successful everyone's being and how we're getting that done. We're going to look at the team stats for this year now. And this is going to be really, really interesting to look at because you got the total yards. This is including kickoff returns. So, including kickoff returns. 12,000 yards including kickoff returns. So, we're going to stop that right there. You can see, though, we're in the top 10. We're right there at number 6. 9,218 yards on the season. That's just quite a bit. Offensive yards, we're number 4 in the country last year with 7,476. 4,200 of that was passing, which, by the way, is a top 10 in the country. We had 3,267, which was number 3 in the country. And points per game, we score a lot. We get number 5 in the country in points per game. 45 passing touchdowns this last year, which is good for number 7. And we had 50 rush touchdowns, which tied us for 4th in rushing touchdowns this previous year. Sacks is where it's going to hurt us a little bit. We were outside of the top 10, but inside the top 20. So pretty good job in avoiding getting sacked and first downs. We were top 10 in that as well. So pretty good offensive year for us. And this is, again, going to be where it stings a little bit. The pass offense was bottom 5 in the country this past year. Not good at all. Rushing yards, number 1 in the country. We were number 1 on defense against the rush last year. The pass game, completely different story. Points allowed, completely different story. But it looks like we may have actually been pretty solid in shutting points off the board. So I will take it. 150%. I'm not really happy with it, but it could be worse. So sacks. Let's see how many sacks we are. We bottom or are we top? Looks like kind of in the middle, but 31 sacks. We had 8 fumble recoveries, which was definitely on the upside there in the country. 8 fumbles. I don't think I've had that many fumbles in a dynasty ever. 16 interceptions, which is going to put us also still kind of at the top half there. Pretty good, pretty solid defensive year. And then let's look at the third down conversion percentage. We were 66% on the season. So we literally, look at that, we literally almost had 100 attempts, and we completed 66 of them. So that's literally all but 33. So that's a pretty good stat. Number 3 in the country on third down. On fourth down, we were worse. So, 2-point conversions. I mean, look, how many? 17? Jesus. I don't like that. Red zone. Here's a good one. This is going to tell you how good everybody was at scoring. I was not bad. It was not bad. So, I mean, I'll take it. That's good company to be in. Defensive red zone percentage, and that is awesome. 58% of the drives that we defensed were successful. So, I mean, that's best in the country right there. Not even Justin, Wings, Jed, none of those guys. Cam, none of them can say they did better than me in the red zone last year on defense. So that's something definitely look up at. And one of the least penalized teams in the country, too. The least penalty yards out of anyone last year. So that's something positive as well. And then this is where it gets hurtful. 39 giveaways. 39. 36. 28. 27. Oh, 25. Gross. But I had 24 takeaways. How many of these guys have? Only 23. Hey. What? What? Let me give him a call. Let me call him. Well, that sounds like bullshit, so I gotta call him and see what's going on. Alright, let me give him a call. Ugh, kids. Waiting on just one guy here so that we can move along to our cuts. And I am dying to get to the preseason and start getting my recruiting class put together and start getting schedules put together. This has been a pretty fun first season for us. It took us about maybe a month to play. So, it's pretty good pace. Pretty good pace. This feels like it's taking 10 years now. The off season, the first off season is always the longest off season. And, man, it's frustrating. But we're getting there. We are getting there. As you can see by our stats for the season, our starting quarterback finished with 3,005 yards. Could have been more, but he was injured for a few games. So altogether, we threw for 4,200 yards, 45 touchdowns, and 20 interceptions. Pretty much averaged the goal. Got sacked 12 times, got sacked 10 times. So he was way better in the game than what he was for us. Rushing, I mean, you really just can't do much better than that. Averaging 8.1 and 7.9 respectively. And we are going to cuts. Hell yes, brother. We are going to cuts. Man, we're making the move here. I'm so excited. Hell yeah, brother. Gotta make sure Ken's all ready to go. Oh, boy. Old Kenneth taking his sweet ass fucking time. Oof. Here we go. Hey, bud. What's going on? Hello? What's going on, dude? Oh, what happened before that? Did you tell him good job? Hold on. Did you tell him good job? Ma'am. Yeah. 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 Well, hurry back, because I think Anna's kind of losing her mind a little bit, freaking out. So, she was very concerned. All right, man. Well, you have a good rest of your night, okay? All right, bye. Bam. Cut time. Time to make some cuts. Cut these bitches. Bam. All right, so we got to cut 5 guys. That should be pretty freaking easy. Gosh, dude, my free safety, man. My free safety recruit is so good. I'm so stoked. I'm so excited. Oh, my God. Jesus. Here we go. Oh, this is where it's going to get interesting. Oof. I don't like having guys that are really, really bad on my team, but, I mean, bro, sometimes. This guy's never going to play. Gotta be very, very tactical about this and how we make these moves. Okay, first things first, fuck this guy. I don't need him. I don't. But at the same time, I really don't want to recruit a fullback this year unless I absolutely have to. So, he gone. Oh, Lord. Let's see here. This guy's never going to play down for me. So, yeah, he gone. This guy is never going to play it down for me, so he gone. Vindication, baby. I love it. I love it. I'm being freed from all these guys that are never going to play for me because they're so trash. Bye. That's a good line right there. Keep these guys where they are. I don't need that negativity on my team, and I'm good. Done right there. Hell yeah. So that's going to be all for our off-season video, guys. I know it probably wasn't really exciting at times, but we're getting there. So, season 2 upcoming soon, and we'll see you guys next time.